Thank you so much, Lily. So the very first question I've got for you is our topic. What do women want? So should I start with you, Amaka?
Okay. The truth of the matter is, I find that women are very simple. And this was one of the reasons why I wrote my first book, trying to articulate for women exactly what they want. Because much as I say women are simple, sometimes we haven't collated the thoughts of exactly what we want. Women want, if we want to go jump straight into it, time, talk, touch, what I call the 3 T's. I mean, there are other things, but these 3 things, time, talk, touch, it encompasses so much else. But any man who can key into those things will have his woman. I mean, he will understand his woman. He'll have his woman. You know, they say they want peace. He'll have his woman doing all those things he wants her to do, both in the bedroom and out.
So I like that. Time, talk, and touch. And it's so profound, because when I think about some of the challenges that I've heard about in marriages and relationships, actually, I mean, let's not even talk about marriage. Let's talk about relationships, right? When you hear about some of the challenges that they have, it's all about, oh, he doesn't have time for me.
Absolutely.
You know, he doesn't talk to me. And, you know, I don't feel like I'm attracted to him and things like that. And it's always about these things. And it's a good thing, because I've never sat down to think about it that way. Pimble, over to you. What do you think?
I think for me, you know, one of the things that you mentioned earlier was, you know, over the last few years, people, you know, women will spend so much money, go for seminars, try to understand what their men want. In fact, once you get married, they turn to the woman and say, this is what your husband wants. And, you know, and we really
even for when you're young. From little children, you're always telling the women,
this is what they want. You know, you learn to cook, you learn to this. But then for me, I'm like, for a man, I think men need to understand what it is that their women want. Now, there's no blanket approach per se. I think it's based on whatever your woman wants. So if it's time, some women want time, some women want the touch, some women want, you know, the gift, some women just want to be heard, some women want to be respected. But it's the onus is on the man to take time out and listen and understand what his woman wants. And I think that makes a big, massive difference, because we are running all over the place trying to please this man, but are the men running all over the place trying to please us? And I think that's where the disconnect is. I think that's where the disconnect is.
Because I like to ask the question, I ask it wherever I am, who is training the men?
Absolutely.
You know, and I like to tell the women even that for us, there's a responsibility on us who have boys, and even if you don't have biological children that are boys and men in your sphere of influence, to be able to let them know the way to treat a woman and what a woman wants. Because the question is a relevant question. Who is training the men?
No one is.
There isn't, because I mean, before bringing on this topic, I actually did a bit of research online, you know, just to check out what's there. How many male role models do we have that talk about relationship? You know, there are a bunch of role models out there about money, about other stuff, but in the space of relationship, there isn't anything now. I know, we all know that men, they do love watching TV, but when they switch on the TV, it's all about football or it's all about a sport. But they don't particularly, or news. But they don't particularly have, well, I haven't seen men interested to say, you know what, my wife is a little bit complicated. Let me go out there to find out what to do. And you know, what you often hear is, oh, she's complicated. And according to research says that, you know, when you ask the pooled, you know, group of women over 49 years, I think, you know, it was a research done. And after 49 years, the conclusion was most men believe when you ask them, you know, what's the problem in the relationship, that, you know, they say she complains too much. And the second bit is she doesn't give me sex, right? And for the woman is, and for the woman, she would say things like, he's not there for me, right? Or there isn't enough emotional connection. And that goes to exactly what you said, the communication, the touch, and the talk, the time and touch. And it's absolutely, and when you look at these, you know, the men have every right to say they want sex, but something leads to sex, right? Because I think most men, and correct me if I'm wrong, they often feel like sex should just be McDonald's all the time.
No, you can't go and order it.
And that's the thing, you know, and I keep referring to this, and this was one of the things that inspired my writing my book, honestly, because you see, for a woman, touch, I like to say that for a woman, touch must be both sexual and non-sexual in order for it to be enjoyably sexual. So like I like to tell, I usually talk to the church, and when I'm talking to the churchman, I say, you can't start your Song of Solomon moves from the time you enter the bedroom and switch off the light. It must start the morning after the night before. And this is why talk matters. Because if your woman is explaining to you, look, I want you to touch me outside of the bedroom too. I want you to show me care and attention outside of the bedroom too. Not outside. It's like you're there and I'm here, and then suddenly we get into the room and you want me to turn into some kind of Mata Hari or something. No,
you want me to be swinging from the chandelier.
Exactly. So it's not like for the woman, the journey there matters just as much as the destination. And if you understand that, why can't you give it to me? If you say you want sex and this is the way to get it, they say men are solution oriented. Then if this is what it takes, then do you want to do it? You understand?
You know, I think it's actually a very lazy approach on the men as well.
Yeah.
Because if they want sex, so I say, I mean, I've mentioned this on our podcast where I said foreplay is cleaning the house. And I say to my husband, you don't. Well, okay, you want sex. Okay, but before we get to the point, what are the things that will make me happy? If I walk through the door and the house is clean, trust me, I'm already
you guys use that.
I'm already in the mood. But because for me, I'm like, thank God, there's nothing to do. Okay, let's have
you've taken all the some of the stress away from me.
But then you don't just come in and then I still have to do all of this work. I still have to sort out the kids. By the time it's bedtime, I'm way too tired. I'm not thinking about sex, but you're thinking about. So for a woman, for the men, we're saying to you, find out what it is that makes your woman happy. So maybe for me, I need a clean house to make my head be focused. Then do what I, try and help. At least show that you're doing something. Don't be lazy about sex. You just want sex, but you don't want to work towards getting that sex. And it's ridiculous for anyone to think that they can just rock up and I'm just ready.
If you have found any of our interviews or videos interesting and engaging, click the subscribe button and also turn on your notification just to make sure you never miss a thing.